Welcome back to your aviation news recap. In today's proceedings, there's focus on Emirates, then moving over to IndiGo, who are up for a new aircraft order. Yep, deja vu. And lastly, Qantas is making some changes to its route network. Let me begin with focus on Emirates, who have announced its group-wide results for 2023-2024 with record performance across the group. In a release, the company revealed that revenues increased to a new high of USD 37.4 billion, which was up by 15%. The group largely cites the continuously increasing demand across multiple aspects of the business as a reason for this. Emirates Group also ended the year with its highest ever cash balance of USD 12.8 billion. Donata saw a profit of USD 400 million, representing another significant jump from the 90 million recorded 1 year prior. Meanwhile, their company revenue also increased 29%, which set new records. Let's focus on the Emirates performance though as an airline. Well, it was able to increase its available capacity by 20% to 57.7 billion ATKMs. Thanks to this increase, Emirates says it was also able to successfully close the gap that little bit further than what it was able to record prior to the pandemic. It'll look at finishing the closure of that gap very soon. With capacity increases across the network alongside the signing of new meaningful partnerships, Emirates did see revenues rise 13% to USD 33 billion. Ultimately as well, the Dubai-based airline saw record profits of USD 4.6 billion, up from a 2.9 billion posting of 1 year prior. So this is a 63% jump year over year. By no means at all a small margin. Across the financial year, Emirates also saw the deployment of more services, such as new daily flights to Montreal, the resumption of service to Tokyo Haneda, and several other locations. In total, capacity was added to 29 cities, and we also saw the interline and codeshare partnership announcements with 11 new airlines. This has been a big focus for Emirates across the most recent financial year. They view codeshare and interline partnerships as hugely important in expanding the Emirates network to maybe locations they're unable to reach with their mainline aircraft. The Airbus A380's continued reactivation and deployment was something else that was more than evident, with the airline also bringing its premium economy product to more jets. 16 further aircraft were rolled out from the ongoing cabin retrofit program, and this is expected to continue in the financial years ahead. As of March 31, 2024, Emirates says its Airbus A380s serve 49 destinations right around the world, and its premium economy experience is present in 15 total cities. As for the 2024-2025 financial year, well, it will mark one of the most critical periods for Emirates. Well, why? Well, as it describes it, it's venturing into a new era. In September, the airline will deploy its upcoming aircraft, the A350, on service to Bahrain. The airline expects to take delivery of 10 units between now and March 31 of 2025, with these configured in 3 cabin classes. Enhancing the fleet is expected to support what the company describes as, again, that next phase of its network and business growth. Additionally, Emirates will continue expanding its own route network by not just adding new destinations from Dubai International, but returning to specific locations. I touched on the focus of that multi-billion dollar retrofit program that is expected to continue as older aircraft cabins align better with some of your next generation wide bodies that are expected to be delivered in the coming years. On to the next story, and that's Qantas, who have unveiled plans to boost flights between Singapore and India as part of its latest flight update for broader Asia. The Australian flag carrier says that the focus on its latest wave of additional flying does follow calculated studies that took place over a significant period, trying to determine just where would be best to grow its presence. Qantas will look to increase flying to Singapore by 10% as part of an additional 2,500 seats that are set to be offered per week. The airline says its service between Sydney and Singapore will increase from 14 return flights to 17 per week. This increase will be made possible from the 11th of December 2024, so right at the back end of this calendar year. Meanwhile, Brisbane will also receive 9 return flights per week, up from the previous 7 offered. Qantas says this adjustment will commence a little bit earlier on the 27th of October 2024, in time for the season switchover that will see Australia and the Oceania region move towards their summer schedule. Additionally, the expectation is the services from Brisbane will actually be timed around the connection in Singapore for service onto London, and thanks to these adjustments, Qantas says it'll be able to reduce overall travel time to Heathrow by up to 4 hours. That's right, 4 hours. Lastly, Qantas says it'll boost flying from Sydney to Bengaluru. Currently, the airline offers 5 weekly flights, which will increase daily over the peak holiday season. The extra 2 weekly flights will operate between mid-December 2024 through to March 2025, and therefore across what Qantas quotes as a 4-month period, we'll see an additional 12,000 seats. But again, this is not a permanent change. In the coming aviation news update, I'll take a look at some more route changes that the Australian airline has announced. But now on to IndiGo, who are looking to assert their dominance even further in the lucrative and also ever-growing Indian market with another new aircraft order. Deja vu, am I right? As reported by the Economic Times, IndiGo is looking towards 3 aircraft manufacturers to provide aircraft for an order of up to 100 jets. As part of the airline's latest plans, it's targeting smaller planes that would allow for the deepening of its regional network. This is an aspect of the business that the company believes it'll be able to strengthen in the long term. IndiGo is in talks with ATR, Embraer, and Airbus to be able to really supply these 100 aircraft deemed necessary to fulfill its future regional flying needs. The Indian low-cost unit has expanded significantly over the last 18 months, with major single-aisle aircraft orders that have made headlines right around the world. And when you consider in April the airline also purchased the A350, this really only further signaled its long-term intent as an airline that wants to capitalize on market share and take it away from other airlines too. But now, the regional market is calling, and there are several aircraft in the frame to be added to the fleet. While ATR aircraft seem to be at least the most likely and optimal selection, IndiGo is more than aware that there are other, more modern alternatives that are present within our industry. Airbus may potentially look to continue their relationship with IndiGo by putting forward their A220 program, and again, you can't forget over at Embraer, the very popular and reliable E-Jet. That'll be another talking point as all 3 manufacturers compete to really get this lucrative aircraft order from such an important airline customer. Demand across India to fly domestically and internationally is something we already know that is surging, but IndiGo wants to respond to more so other market opportunities it's seeing, and that is connectivity between more regional cities that are seeing some pretty hefty investments in infrastructure. If these smaller airports see growth in their infrastructure, IndiGo is forecasting some considerable demand levels, and they need to be well positioned to meet this growth. So, therefore, you expect more aircraft to be required. You can let me know which direction you believe IndiGo should head down below in the comments. Thank you very much for your support here on the channel. It really does mean a lot. Take care, be safe. Like I always say, I'll see you same place, same time tomorrow for your latest aviation news recap.